with world points on the line, these two duelists here made it into top 32, trying to get that top spot. They already got their qualifications already, but you know you want more prizes, of course. You want to go for the gold. But these two duelists have tried and they've succeeded so far, and now we're here. So coming on to the stage, all the way from France, Enzo Duval. Enzo, congratulations on making top 32 in any case. I hope, we'll see how far you get to go. So tell me a little bit about what it was like traveling all the way here.
Traveling was quite fun. I mean, it's not my first time in London, so I kind of get used to it. But I didn't play in YCS London since 4 years, so it's kind of a comeback.
Oh, okay. So, no, the things we had with Paul Cooper as well, a lot of duelists are kind of like, same thing with Simon He too. A lot of duelists are taking small breaks, taking care of life and stuff, but, always finding love in the game and coming back and playing again, the break that you took and the time you took off of the game a little bit, how do you like the game now?
When I came back, it feels weird because, everything go like you play for 15 minutes, and I feel like it was different from Yu-Gi-Oh! But when you put interest in that, you can really play a grind game, and that's what I like. So I kind of figure it out, and I kind of love this form. I mean, the last ban list was super fine.
Okay, so talk about Forbidden Limitless. You like the small hits that we had with the Orcus deck, and I mean it created a lot of diversity into the meta, and of course day 1 and day 2 we've had a lot, like nearly all of our features have been unique decks and stuff, so that was really interesting to watch. Did you actually have any very interesting matchups this tournament?
During this, I didn't play 2 times the same deck. Like all my match, I played 2 mirror match, but that was the only time I played against the same deck. I think I played against everything in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And it was fine. It was fun.
Okay, so then you like this current format then?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Now, Enzo, well, thank you for talking to me. Good luck in your match. Take a seat. We'll get your next opponent coming out in a bit. And now from the right side, from Germany, Christian Thomas. You have a very interesting name, actually. Yeah, it's so cool. It's quirky. So tell me, Christian, how do you feel about the tournament so far?
I feel really good. I decided to change my deck on Friday evening, so I was actually not super sure, but now I'm feeling really confident with my deck, and I did well. Like, I made top 32, so yeah.
Of course, congratulations to you as well coming out here. Do you think that your deck that you chose might actually make it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was definitely better than the other deck I was considering on Friday, so I'm happy that I changed my deck.
Okay, one of the duelists also we had on earlier also was considering a deck and opted out to play the deck that he probably was practicing a whole long time for. What was the other deck you were actually considering?
I won't tell because he might know what I'm not playing then. So yeah.
Okay, so it might actually end up being the same one. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for talking to me. Take a seat and we can get this duel underway. Now, the stage is set. The action is going to get hot and heavy. I hope you guys are ready. Head off to the casters for this top 32. Sebastian Lemke and Leonard Koenig.
Our venue was so packed at the beginning of Saturday, and now we only have 32 players remaining in the main event.
Yeet.
They made it. They are in the top card. They have that achievement to their name now. They can say, yes, I have topped the biggest UK YCS ever, yes, which it is here.
And we have some really prominent names, as
yes,
always, of course, and we also have some first-timers.
We do.
So basically, everything's here, and our metagame includes a few different decks. We have one that is really dominant. We have 14 Orcus decks.
It's insane. This deck
crazy.
Is like overwhelming.
And it got the biggest hit on the last Forbidden Limited list.
Exactly.
Mermaid gone. Everyone thought like, okay, this deck is not going to be in competition.
And what do you
anymore.
think is a reason that it now is on top of competition right now?
I mean, the grind game didn't really get hurt, and players still found a way to get 2 monsters on board and make Galatea.
But maybe it is really IP Masquerena, because this card has been
This card has been overperforming the entire weekend.
Everybody plays it.
The first turn is just so much better. It's just 1 or 2 extra interruptions.
Seems like this card really, really did it.
Yeah.
But in this featured match, we do not have Orcust for you.
No. And
so
you will
we found a
see.
match where there was no Orcust involved.
It was hard to find.
Exactly. We had a lot of Orcust mirror matches in top 32, to be honest. But I think we should go over to the table so you guys can see what nice deck we have for you here in top 32. So let's head over to the table. Let top 32 start now.
All right, so Christian Thomas. This guy has also been super strong in the last season.
Yes,
let's say. He has topped his first YCS with Düsseldorf, and he just keeps going. He has topped Euros, he has topped... I don't know if he topped Gent actually, but he has topped this event, of course, as you can see. And he's playing versus Enzo Duval, a French player who is running the Gren Maju deck, which has really performed well in American events so far.
True. I do actually remember that Christian Thomas did top Ghent as well. I remember him texting me that he did not want to have a featured match. Now he sits here playing top 32. We gave him the chance to actually come back and now can show off his skills on stream. And he's going first here. So do you think Christian knew what Enzo was playing? It's pretty likely at this point of the tournament, right?
Yeah, I mean, players usually try to get the information of what their opponents are playing. And of course, they also walk around the top tables to try and scout what other players are playing. If the name isn't too prominent, then it's kind of hard to remember what you saw on his table. But I mean, he might have seen it, especially if you see a rogue deck like Gren Maju.
Exactly, that sticks to your head. It's like, oh, it was Orcust or Salamangreat, one of the two big decks. You're like, you cannot really differ anymore. But if you see it's Gren Maju, then you're definitely sure that he was a Gren Maju player, the only one.
He really plays the first turn versus Gren Maju right now. He decides to not go into Spinny and go for a Stalio combo. No, he just wants to have the Gazelle recycled by Jack Jaguar and Sunlight Wolf, and then he wants to set up Rage, which is arguably the best card versus Gren Maju, because Gren Maju is a powerhouse. It is a normal summoned monster that has so many attack points when multiple cards are banished, and Rage just gets rid of the problem immediately.
Absolutely agreed. So it's very likely that Christian knows it. How funny is it that Enzo actually did not play any deck twice except the mirror match? Like when Christian heard that, he probably wouldn't have guessed that it's Gren Maju.
No,
to
not
be
at all.
But so funny
maybe he
that
didn't.
he had to.
Maybe that was mind gaming.
Yeah, really, he
but
played
I assume
he
he's not lying. So, so probably that was the truth. Okay,
as
so
you predicted, Gazelle is being added to the hand again.
Gazelle limited to 1, but still it can be recycled over and over and over and over and over again. So players are still favoring the deck. It is the second most represented deck.
Yeah, I was about to say that. We will talk about the meta game after this match. So we will take a look at the deck breakdown we have for top 32. And it seems like Orcust is just overwhelming, as you said. But Salamangreat actually being the second place with a comfortable lead too.
But look at Christian Thomas's hand. The Desires draw was not good at all. He drew into 2 normal summons. It wasn't even a Spinny so that he could extend his combo.
True, true, true. And there is the Cosmic Cyclone.
The Cyclone is super... Okay, so let's see. Wow, he has Pot of Desires. And Pot of Desires actually does so much for Enzo.
And Maju as well
when Christian activated the Pot of Desires, he was basically giving his opponent so many attack points. It should be 4,000, right?
Gren Maju basically can win this game already alone on its
Cosmic
own.
Cyclone takes out another one. So after the Desires, he will have 21 cards banished, which is 8,400 attack points on the Gren Maju.
And then he still has dangers. There is the Ash Blossom, so Christian wants to not see Enzo draw into Gren Maju. But Gren Maju is already in the hand of Enzo. So he can now just use danger effects as well. He has Danger Ogopogo, as you can see. He has Chupacabra. He has Thunderbird. But I would definitely recommend him to, first off, normal summon the Gren Maju to Acer, and there he comes.
This card is just such a powerhouse.
He's so big, and there comes Thunderbird now.
Thunderbird is activated.
And look, Christian just wants to get it done fast. He snipes out the Thunderbirds. That's a good start for him.
He is still alive. I think that would have been probably game already. Nope.
I think it can still be.
Think so.
I think it can
he
still
has
be.
The protection of Bailings. So now Chupacabra was discarded for the Ogopogo effect, and now Chupacabra will summon back the Thunderbird, and that should be game.
That
should be enough damage.
And what is he drawing even now? Christian really hoped, please don't let that Desires draw be the Gren Maju, because Gren Maju is already so big with all that cards being banished at the moment. But he had it in hands. That's so crucial for Enzo here.
But I mean, 8,400 onto 1,800 should be something like 6-4.
And there are two monsters with like legit attack points on
Or
board
6-6.
too.
Yeah, and then he can run over the Sunlight Wolf and attack with Ogopogo. And if a monster is destroyed by battle, then Salamangreat Gazelle won't trigger.
Definitely. He has no defensive option then. What is the card he has in hand there? What is he considering? It looked like another danger to me. Well, there's so many good cards he can draw on top of what he already has on board, right? He can draw into a Gizmek, which is another monster on board. He can draw into Dangers. He can also draw into Monster Reborn or stuff like that. He has so much utility in his deck. And he goes into battle phase, it seems. So obviously Christian has to protect his Sunlight Wolf with the effect of Balings in Graveyard.
But isn't that still enough damage?
I do definitely think so, to be honest.
I mean, they're acting like it wasn't.
Okay, looks like it's not, because otherwise Christian definitely would have picked up his cards already. Let's see.
Wait.
3-7. Does Gren Maju only gain attack for your own banished cards?
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so
that's
right.
probably the reason.
Yeah,
he's
Gren
not that
Maju.
big, but still he is very big, and it's 3,600 life points. And now comes the good part. You have a lot of big beaters, but you can actually convert them into your extra deck monsters.
Yep.
So Enzo immediately summons one of his rank 8 Exceeds. What was the last deck that had use of rank 8 Exceeds? It seems like it was Blue Eyes Stride Dragon. Okay, Thunder Dragon, yeah, right.
Okay,
agreed.
so big oopsie on my part. Gren Maju only gets attack points for your own banished cards.
Yeah, we were so hyped already.
Yeah.
It looked like its game, like it, more than 10,000 damage to me at the first view.
And not summoning monsters from your graveyard is so huge versus Salamangreat.
Yeah, it is number 68, Xenophon's Sky Prison. This one was also played in the Thunder Dragon deck, or like the Thunder Dragon Orcust Danger combo deck as well. It really is good versus Salamangreat. It's obviously good versus Orcust.
I mean, he has to overcome the Gren Maju without summoning from the graveyard. So what can he really do? He has Falco, Foxy, and Gazelle.
Okay, he starts off with impermanence.
Yeah, that works. You can just reduce the attack points to 0. That works. That was a really good draw for him.
Does the attack stay at 0 now for however long this card is on the field?
Shouldn't be.
Right, it just gets back resetted to the point of...
Oh, and
and
he
he draws
adds
into Roar.
the Roar. That is really huge for him. So now you can just go into Balings and special summon out the Gazelle. Gazelle not really having a good target left in the deck, as the Roar was just added to the hand and Rage is already set in the graveyard.
Yeah, true.
But he can set up for the next turn. He can probably send a Spinny.
Christian's task right now just has to be to actually survive the next turn, and then he's able to use his setup if he can get rid of the Xenophon. And from then on he's in a much better position because Salamangreat grinds a whole lot better than Gren Maju, because Gren Maju is just a whole lot of OTKs and not anything else, sadly for him. There comes the Gazelle.
But I mean, he cannot get into Stelios, so he is probably not going to be able to remove the Sky Fortress.
Yeah, true. He makes the setup, he has Spinny engraved now, but still, as you say, this turn he's prevented from doing anything with it. But he probably is happy that Gren Maju will go away.
Yeah.
But like, Enzo has a lot of good top decks, and still he can top deck another Gren Maju, for example.
I mean, he can go into... Can you also not summon from your opponent's graveyard? Because otherwise he could go into Heater and run over the Gren Maju and special summon it, because he also has Resolve to Desires.
Oh, true, and Gren Maju is a fire monster. That's insane. That would be funny. Okay, but now he's just running over the Gren Maju. That's some damage for Enzo as well.
I think he will have to activate Sanctuary, then Reincarnation Link the Sunlight Wolf, set Roar by its own effect, and then add Rage, and then immediately pop the Sky Fortress, because as soon as the Sky Fortress has resolved, it cannot be destroyed by card effects.
Yeah, you are right. And it was a good decision, I think, by Enzo to keep the Danger Nessie in hand, because that makes potential top decks even more valuable, because Super Polymerization would be a huge top deck coming up as well.
Yeah,
he's playing that in the main deck. Of course, he's he's on such a going second
right now.
strategy.
He cannot activate it, because there wouldn't be a zone for it. And he cannot fuse away his Sky Fortress for the Violet
for the Violet Chimera, he cannot use that. That's true, yeah.
I mean, unless he plays targets that can take Sunlight Wolf and the Fortress.
It does not look like it. He only plays the Violet Chimera, he plays the Starving Venom and the Predaplant Dragastapelia.
He just passed on one set card.
Oh, and he has Raw still in hand, looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, our app isn't updated yet, I think, because on the table it only shows the Sunlight Wolf 2.
And he didn't activate Sanctuary.
That is really interesting. Looks like he hit the Ogopogo, and he's thinking about where to summon it. Oh, it's getting intense.
I mean, he hit the Nessie, right? He used Ogopogo and then he hit the Nessie.
Oh yeah, you're right. So he gets another draw. But now...
Another Gren Maju would be...
that would be game ending.
That would be a major upset for Christian.
Too. Yeah, exactly. It would be heartbreaking because all the negation effects in the game are superb. But if that just is a monster that is slammed onto the table that has like a big attack, you cannot do anything against it.
I mean, the biggest strength of Gren Maju, apart from his big amount of attack points, is its simplicity.
I absolutely agree.
You normal summon it. That's it.
Yeah, for example, playing against Pendulum. He has a whole lot of negates on board, and you're just happily saying, okay, I attack, and then it's game for me. Congratulations for that.
Okay, so he searched Chupacabra, which makes sense.
Chupacabra, yeah. Chupacabra is the one that can special summon from the graveyard back then, right?
And he has big monsters in the graveyard as well. Oh, he reveals another Ogopogo. Ogopogo, when discarded, can send a danger spell or trap card to the graveyard.
But he does not hit it. He hits the Chupacabra, so he gets the draw and the special summon effect. Only 2 cards in hand at the start of Enzo's turn, but a lot of stuff happening still for him. And now Christian is considering to negate that. Yeah. He is negating the special summoning effect of Chupacabra.
And now he's left at basically nothing apart from... I mean, he has a Balings in graveyard.
Yeah, true. He can protect his Sunlight Wolf.
No, he cannot add back the Rage. It was Cosmic Cyclone. It was banished.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. For this game, it is out of the question. Oh,
wow. He called by the graves the Balings.
And then it's enough damage, right?
Should be.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That was a pretty good top deck for Enzo right there. Looks like a defensive card, but in this moment, it is a very offensive card for him.
I mean, Called by the Grave is one of those cards that can really be used offensively and defensively. If you want to negate hand traps to get your combo through or something, it is really offensive.
Yeah.
But you can also set it, and versus Salamangreat or something, you can take out important resources. And yeah, Christian Thomas
and he picks up his cards.
Enzo Duval wins the first game of his top 32 match versus Christian Thomas. You can see the crowd going wild. You can see ears shaking and players waving at the camera.
Yeah, the Frenchman really showed how explosive the Gren Maju deck is right there. And let's see what we can expect in game 2. What kind of sideboard cards is Christian going to bring in here? Lancea seems good.
You can just shotgun it, and then the deck has really limited options because you cannot activate Desires or Extravagance or Cosmic Cyclone. Okay, this one you can chain. Okay.
True, true. Yeah, I agree. He will probably put in the Lancea. But the first question to me right now that comes to my mind is, do you go first in the shoes of Christian?
No, but you can still just shotgun it.
Of course, you can, definitely.
But you let your opponent start, obviously. But what does Enzo play? I mean, obviously he must have prepared something to open up with if your opponent says, okay, you can go first.
That should be the general scenario he has to expect, right? I totally agree. So he has some going first cards in his side deck. First off, the very powerful and very universally used There Can Only Be One. There can be only one, sorry.
There can be only one.
So that can really hinder the Salamangreat deck, of course. If he does not have access to Foxy in the graveyard, that can really hinder him for quite some turns, to be honest. And also he decided to play Danger Zone.
Welcome to the Danger Zone.
Yeah, it seems like a meme card, to be honest, and we reread over it once again because we did not see it played a lot.
Yep.
And actually it just says that you draw 3 cards, then you discard 2 cards.
Yeah.
It's a normal trap.
Or if you don't have danger cards in your hand, you just have to shuffle your entire hand.
Exactly. It has to be 1 danger card discarded by the effect. Otherwise, just everything is shuffled back, which, I mean, okay, you have to get your resources set up for the next turn because when you're going first, you expect to do like very few plays as a Gren Maju player. It is probably like common that he's just passing and hopes that he does not die versus decks like a Salamangreat or Sky Striker.
Or he might just summon 2 level 8 monsters and try to set up the Sky Fortress.
Yeah, true. That's also an option. And yeah, he's not really doing a whole lot. I saw him going through the top tables in the last round of Swiss, and he was playing with Sky Striker. And yeah, he was just passing his turn because his Sky Striker opponent let him start. And he was like, yeah, Sky Striker can't kill me anyway,
right.
so why should I do anything?
Try
and why should I commit resources to my board when I just want all of my resources for the upcoming turn?
Go for your 3000 damage with Ray effect into Hayate, I don't care.
Yeah, definitely not, yeah. And then we are picking up the cards for game 2 now. Enzo having a little smile on his face because he's in the lead right here. Let's see whether Christian can overcome that deficit. Enzo drawing his starting hand. And look, he drew into there can be only one. So he knows he's going first and he wants to really have that advantage. He wants to have a floodgate to his arsenal available.
And he also has the possibly most powerful spell in the game right now. It is Super Polymerization in his opening hand.
Oh yeah, that's 2 very, very good cards. Oh, and Christian did not let him start.
I mean, that makes sense if you're considering that he's probably going to sideline Seiya, because he does not play any kind of OTK combo.
That's right, that's right. He needs a setup for his first turn, true.
Right, and if you start with a field and then you land Seiya, then you're not threatened by Gren Maju.
Yeah, agreed, agreed.
And then you can OTK.
So, Enzo definitely surprised by this, I would guess, because he bought it in there can only be one.
Yeah.
I mean, this card still is super strong by Salamangreat in any kind of situation, you have to say. Oh, and Christian really just going for a minimal play. He is reincarnationing.
Yeah, he has to, because he has Gazelle and
otherwise he does not get
he has Gazelle. That's
triggered.
not a minimal play. He has the best hand that is possible for him, basically, in this matchup. He can set up Rage Roar with this.
Oh yeah, because he has Hard Draw Raw, true.
And he has Desires and Ash Blossom, so
it seems kind of bad because normally,
for Christian.
Because normally you think you would reincarnation link the Sunlight Wolf, but he can just normally link summon it, right? So that's
right.
Even better. And he has the Mirrored Stalio, which he did not have in game 1.
I mean, he chose to not go Merge Stalio because probably he knew the matchup and he set up a Rage immediately, which was countered by Cosmic Cyclone that really hurt him in the grind game even because he could not access his Rage. So, Salamangreat Jaguar was summoned by Stalio in defense position, and now the Desires is it. All the crucial, important combo pieces for him are out of the deck, so he can freely shotgun the Desires and see what he draws. And
that's the argument for the Salamangreat deck, like for Pot of Desires in the Salamangreat deck, because you can just freely draw into hand traps now, which can then interrupt your opponent. But to be fair, hand traps aren't that effective for the Gren Maju deck.
I was just going to say Pot of Desires would be a weird argument for a deck. But if you're looking at Gren Maju, Pot of Desires is an argument for the deck.
Definitely.
But I mean, there are strong hand traps. You have Ash Blossom, which is great to stop the draw cards.
Yeah.
Sometimes it kind of hurts because he still has Gren Maju as in game 1. But Lancea is insane.
It's true. And he also drew into not a hand trap, rather a real trap. He drew into Solemn Strike, which can help him as well.
He has to throw it on a danger, basically.
Yeah. It does not feel right because it's just a danger effect, but still it is really impactful if you just take out card by card the hand of Enzo and then he's not left with anything.
And yes, he does a play I really fancy. He links away the Sunlight Wolf and the Jaguar, even though it was already reincarnation linked, because he plays around Super Polymerization to not have 2 Cybers monster on the board, or rather not have a Salamangreat monster and a Link monster.
That's a high-level play by Christian there. And he gets rewarded in this situation, basically, because Enzo did draw into Super Polymerization. Normally you would think Enzo got rewarded by drawing the card, but Christian gets rewarded by playing around it.
Oh, and we have one of my favorite cards picked up by Enzo as well.
Tell me, what is it?
Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher.
You really love the name of this card.
I really love this card. Also the mechanic of the card, it's not just the name. Banishing 8 cards from the top of your deck.
He's starting off with a danger effect, risking to discard the there can be only
that
one.
That card was really important. I mean, of course he knows that there is a Rage, but I mean, maybe you want to set it because it's a good backup plan.
I guess so, yeah. Having a plan I is always good, but plan B sometimes comes to power, I have to say, and he really takes away this option now.
Oh, he has card destruction. Wow, card destruction is really strong. It will bait out the Ash eventually. But it could get rid of Gazelle.
And do you know what he just drew again with his Thunderbird? He just drew into another copy of There Can Be Only One. But he wants to discard it again. He's probably so sure that Christian is going to use the Ash on that.
Or the Roar that he doesn't know of.
Yeah.
Ogo Pogo.
Ogo Pogo. He really does not care. He really does not want to set any back row. He's risking the discard of a second There Can Be Only One. But it is not. But it is Ogo Pogo, right?
Yeah, and now he can mill the danger spell card.
Yeah, it is Danger Response Team.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, you saw it. He is milling the spell, and that's the only spell you can mill with Ogopogo. And can you again explain what Danger Response Team is doing? Because like you not really see that card in other Danger variant decks, for example, like Danger combo decks, but it's played in that Gren Maju deck a lot.
Of course, if you play it from your hand, you can target one Danger monster you control and one monster your opponent controls, and then you can put back those to the hand. And if it's in the graveyard, you can discard a Danger monster, place the response team on the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card.
Yeah, seems good in this kind of variant. Oh, and there comes the Gizmek. I think he's already in battle phase. He already attacked over the Sunlight Wolf, and Christian used the Bailing's effect.
Yeah, I mean, that you want to rage, right? You really want to keep the Sunlight Wolf. So just in case of there can only be one or something, you want to be able to recover your rage so you can out it in the next turn.
Yeah, there comes the Rage. He has a Link 2 monster on board, and it is Reincarnation Link, so he can just pop both monsters. And Gizmek goes back to the graveyard, where he kind of belongs, but he likes to come back from there too.
That is indeed true. So, Super Polymerization set as the only card. Now, will Christian fall for it? But I mean, falling for it isn't that bad. If he summons Jaguar, I mean, he should pick up the Rage before that, honestly.
Looks like he did not set the Super Polymerization, and rather there can be only one, right?
No, he has Called by the Grave and Super Poly.
Okay. Oh yeah, he actually set the Super Polymerization.
So he adds back the Rage, and now he can just summon the Jaguar. If his opponent is forced to use the Super Polymerization, or is using the Super Polymerization, then he can just pop off with Gazelle and Stalio and bounce the card and not care, basically. And now, if he wants to play around it, he can just go into Heatleo.
Yeah, Heatleo can just shuffle back
I like the
everything.
name. It's a very pretty name.
Is Christian actually playing the new Salamangreat Link monster?
Nope. He does not want to destroy 4 cards with Rage.
That is interesting. The Pyro Phoenix, the newest addition to the Link monster arsenal of the Salamangreat monsters, not really that powerful, not really that popular. It seems very powerful, but not too popular.
So. But if you're looking at the metagame, how powerful is destroying your opponent's monsters really right now? Because every deck has easily accessible counter mechanics, and Enzo scoops, so Christian Thomas wins game 2 of his top 32 match.
Our top 32 match will have a third game. And there comes a little round of applause in the hall, and Christian calmly picks up his cards. He knows he still has a shot here, and he will probably just go first in this third game again, so he can still go with his game plan, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he does not, like all the cards he wants to side, he will also side going first.
Yeah.
Or he would also side going second.
True,
something like Lancea. Maybe not Solemn Strike. I don't know if Solemn Strike is the right card to play versus Gren Maju, to be honest. Because the important cards, I mean, you can't hit the important cards with Strike. I think you can only use it on big Exceeds or Link Summons that are barely used sometimes, but also 1,500 life points hurt.
Against the Gren Maju deck, definitely, yeah.
You cannot use it on Gren Maju because, as we already said, Gren Maju is so powerful because it's so simple. You normal summon it, and it has so many attack points.
Yeah, but the side deck process for Enzo definitely changes right here, because as you saw, he probably expected to go first in the second game, but now he can definitely know that he will not go first because he can decide to let Christian start. So he can then just board in Hatronade as a going second card. He can also board in Twin Twisters.
Oh, Hatronade would have come in handy. Not too handy because there was still the Roar that wasn't even activated on Christian's side. He had so many cards. His opening was way too powerful for Enzo.
True, true. But normally, as you said, it is good to go with Rage in this matchup. So only if your opponent hard draws the Roar, you have to fear it.
That is really true.
So Hatronade can really be a powerful card in this matchup. So Christian finishing up his shuffling. Enzo sitting there awaiting this third duel. He really wants it. He said it. He had a bit of a break, but he came back and he just loved the metagame at the moment. Yeah. And I think he actually talked about it, something that's really, really true. You need a little bit of time to get back into the game completely, like overviewing all the decks we have at the moment, because there's so many decks that can really, really be good and that you have to keep in mind when you enter the YCS. But if you have an overview of all of them, and you really work for that YCS top, you can really get rewarded.
It is really hard to prepare for a tournament like this, which makes it even more impressive to make top 32.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have Sanctuary in the opening hand. Christian
loves
not be too happy about it, but he has Lancea and Buffalo. So maybe He has another. Okay, mining. Mining is good.
And there's already shining the hard draw.
And
Gren Maju
desires.
the Ace in the hand of Enzo. But he has double Gizmek, which is not too good.
But okay, so this hand for Christian is really strong actually, because you can go sign it mining, discard the sanctuary, go for a. Well, this is risky.
Yeah, you probably have to go for Spinny, right? Because you want to have something to discard with the Flame Buffalo. But then on the other hand, if you get ashed on something along the way, you're just not really doing anything. You can just do a
soft combo, right? You can just go Buffalo, go into Bailings, and then Reincarnation Link. He can't Reincarnation Link the Bailings because he just discarded the Sanctuary.
Exactly.
So he actually has to search for Spinny.
He actually goes for Spinny, yeah. That's what I expected. And
okay, so this unlikely scenario of drawing the Sanctuary makes this combo a lot more fragile and a lot riskier.
Yeah, because you cannot chain block the Buffalo as well now. So if Enzo would have an Ash right here, that would be the perfect timing to actually throw it.
And he draws into another Sign It Mining, as I think, which is not too good. And he has to risky Desires.
Ooh.
This Desires could either win him the game or take away every resources he has. You do not want to banish your one of Gazelle. You do not want to banish your Jack Jaguars.
Is he playing only one Jaguar?
No, he's playing two, but still, two Jack Jaguar is not too many for a Desires. It's 10 cards that you banish.
True. We saw Marcel Hunch in the featured match yesterday, just banishing all three engages,
and
Afterburner, Jamming Waves, and Shark Cannon. Congratulations on that again.
So, he summons back Spinny. And I mean, you can already see in his hand motions that he's not too happy about this.
Definitely not. And he drew the strike. You were debating whether it's even that good versus the Gren Maju deck.
So he summons. Oh, he hard drew the one of Gazelle.
And the
Christian
Roar as well.
Thomas going off. And the Roar as well. Wow, he has Strike, Roar, Lancea, and Gazelle. So he should be happier than he's looking right now.
Actually, he's really doing a good job of keeping his emotions calm right now, because I would be so happy at the moment. I would just clash my cards onto the table being like, yes, I got this.
Yeah, and he can even end on the easy play of like going into a Bailings now, recover the Gazelle, and then, of course, Reincarnation linking again to add back the Rage. So he has the big setup again. And the hand of Enzo does not look too good. He's going to summon... I mean, he's going to summon Gizmek at the end of this turn. And then he's going to summon another Gizmek in his turn.
Okay, that's already 2 level 8 monsters, right?
Yeah. And unless... Oh, he has to do it in draw phase. Otherwise, Christian can shotgun the Lancea.
Ooh, but then he can still just chain the Gizmek.
That's true.
So in the end, he will be able to get out double Gizmek if he likes
and
to.
that's 16 banished cards.
Ooh, and Gren Maju already sitting in the hand, waiting to the damage.
And 4 back row cards. That is so strong.
Oh, Christian must be feeling good right there. Because with Salamangreat, you can have openings where you just start with no back row at all.
Yeah.
And you can have openings like that where you just have all the traps in the world. And I can tell you it feels better to actually have a whole lot of traps to use.
And he shotguns the Lancea, so Gizmek will probably be chained.
Does Enzo decide to do so? Oh, he has Trade-in. Oh, that makes it more interesting.
It's really strong because he can actually just not draw 2 cards, but also destroy a set card. So
he just chains the Gizmek. Okay, okay. So he just...
Gizmek Orochi, der Schlangotron Himmelsschlitzer, coming to the field.
It's a beautiful German name, as you always like to shout him out for that. And yeah, Christian... I mean, he has a lot of set cards, but as you said, this strike not really helping him versus a Gren Maju.
I mean, he can use the strike to protect other cards from being destroyed by Thunderbirds.
That's true, but that's not really superb, if you ask me. And you're also losing 1,500 life points by that. Yeah. So there is a trade-in. You were talking about it.
Playing around infinite impermanence.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you have to. There's no way around that. Infinite impermanence is one of the best cards versus the Gren Maju deck. Because, well, okay, so that makes a lot of sense if you ask me. But it does not play around a Hatronate.
But maybe Christian isn't even aware of Enzo playing Hatronate.
Yeah, that could be true. So he targets a card now. If he sees the Rage, he's probably just either chaining the Rage or protecting it with Strike. And he targets the Strike, so Thomas doesn't even have to, Christian doesn't even have to make the decision of protecting other cards by paying 1,500 life points, which he probably would, I think.
Oh, and he actually bluff set the Signet Mining as well, so he risked to get that destroyed.
I mean, that's what he wanted, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. I agree, because he really doesn't need it, because he has his resources available to him already. Ooh, and there comes number 23, Lancelot, Dark Knight of the Underworld. And Christian picks it up to read it, because this card is not too common overall.
I remember playing that way back.
Yeah, it's a pretty old card, to be fair. So let's just get it up on screen and let's quickly reread what it's doing. Yep, there he is. So this card can attack your opponent directly while it has
and
exceed
this
material.
card will become a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is actually game-breaking because silent mining is... Wow, this is incredible. This card negates the first spell or trap to be activated, and he got rid of the strike and the roar. So Lancelot will just negate the rage, and he cannot activate the silent mining to get out the negate.
True, true. That is really important. So the silent mining doesn't really change anything.
Also, Lancelot has another effect. When it attacks and deals damage, it can just destroy a card of his opponent. So he can just attack out the Sunlight Wolf, deal 200 damage, and then get rid of it to even deal more damage with the Grand Maju Aza, which has 16 cards banished, which is 6,400 damage.
Ooh, there is a negate. He used the second rage effect.
Oh, but the Gazelle. Wait.
He used the second rage effect to actually destroy the Sunlight Wolf. That makes sure that the Sunlight Wolf is not destroyed by battle. So Gazelle is able to trigger because we're not in damage step.
Are we not?
I think we're definitely not. It was just attack declaration. And Gazelle is only not able to trigger in the damage step.
Lancelot says that when this card deals battle damage to your opponent, it destroys a card, right?
But he probably just did it on attack, I guess. But that must be the solution, right?
It says when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, that's not what you do on attack declaration.
Yeah, but did he already use the effect? That's a question. You just used it on the attack, maybe.
We are having a communication problem right now, Sebastian.
Why, though?
Because the effect destroys something in damage step, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and there's the handshake.
Wow.
Looks like that was enough. A little bit of confusion on our side, but Enzo has no confusion and he's jumping up out of his chair, doing a winner pose right there, and he's just celebrating that he's not only made it to top 32 now, he also made it to top 16 of YCS London there.
Yes, indeed.
That is insane. Gren Maju, one of the very few rogue decks we have left in the competition, making it one step further, one step closer to the finals, that glorious spot he wants to be in. And yeah, let's talk about the games a little bit. Game one was like...
I'm still
very,
confused
very
from the last game.
Let's try to get back to the first game though.
Okay.
Game one was won by the Gren Maju player Enzo, right? And he really showed us a lot of damage was being dealt. It wasn't enough to actually end the game
but he
right
couldn't
there.
recover from the Sky Fortress.
Exactly right. He still showed us that it was a little bit of grinding potential there for the Gren Maju deck. And so he won that game. Christian then surprised us and his opponent by going first in game two.
Yeah. And it worked for him. He had so many cards that he could set. But that happened in game 3 as well, and it did not work out for him. He had Rage, he had Roar.
He had everything, basically.
He had Lancea, but the double Gizmek Orochi is just too good.
And that Lancelot really came surprising. We were like, okay,
yes,
he only
Lancelot
has
was madly strong. This card just took away the last hope. He destroyed the Sunlight Wolf in damage step, as I said. He just negated the Rage. Silent Mining was a bluff, was not hit by Thunderbird, so he really wanted this card to get hit, his bluff. And then just Gren Maju could attack.
I mean, it looked like he only had 3 cards left, basically, to play. And then he made 2 cards out of that 3 cards. And that Lancelot was so powerful that it was able to completely outblow Christian. And he maybe got caught off guard there. He didn't expect the Lancelot potentially. So I would say it is time to ask Enzo about how he feels.
Yeah, indeed.
So let's go over to the feature match table and hear what the winner has to say here.
That's right, Sebastian. You're right about that one. Let's actually get an idea as to that last game, that last play, where we saw the direct attack from the Lancelot. What was going on there, actually?
I mean, I know my last chance to win is that I'm at 2 Orochi, and if he just use Rage right now, it's over. I lose the game. But I know he will wait a more dangerous play, and nobody play right Lancelot. So I was waiting. He was not using Rage. Use Lancelot, and actually Lancelot have to negate. So if you have 2 cards to chain, I still lose. So my hope was that he have Rage and a dead card, and it was the case. And most of people don't know that Loslo can attack directly, so he read it but didn't even pay attention. So he have a lot of effect, and I think he could have won, but he didn't read it properly, so he made a couple of mistakes.
You know, reading can be hard every now and again. For reading is hard. Even for me, sometimes reading names.
And high pressure, so you have pressure. So that's. I mean, I understand this.
Okay. You know what I mean? But then actually tell us about we talked earlier in the pre-match discussion that you took a little bit of a break. How long was that break actually?
4 years break.
Like 4 years from the game, and you came back and play again, and you're having a whole bunch of fun. The meta's diverse and different. You're playing a pretty interesting deck. You're going on to the top 16. How do you feel about that, actually?
I mean, I feel pretty good and confident. I mean, I'm here to have fun. Win is fun, so I want to win. And I'm pretty confident in my deck. So.
I mean, so they go more or less hand in hand. And like, do you have any idea like? How much experience would it take you to kind of get back to the prime of you where you were at that point when you were playing a lot?
I mean, at start, I thought it was impossible to come back. Like tier 1 and tier 2 are both relevant, so I have like 12 decks to learn, and I was feeling like no, it will take a year, but it actually take 2 months. I really work hard with all my friends, and I mean that's fine now. I know every decks and I do my stuff.
So now we see the dedication and the time that it took him from the 4 years to 2 months to get back into the game, get back into the YCS swing of things. He is now moving on to the top 16. Congratulations, Enzo. Moving on to the next round. And there'll be more coverage after this.
At the Konami booth, I spotted Chris. Chris, who are you cosplaying today?
I'm Maximilian Pegasus.
Wow, you're imitating his voice? Can you do the whole talk?
I can indeed.
Okay, Darren, what do you think about it?
I'm a little worried for